All right, today we are going to decode a health topic that, affects millions of people but is still really misunderstood. We're talking about diabetes. We're going to break down the four essential types, not just as like medical jargon, but as different stories about how our bodies handle energy. And by the end of this, you'll have a super clear way to understand what makes each one so different. So, to really get a handle on diabetes, let's start with a really simple idea. Just imagine your body is this high-performance engine, and it runs on fuel. Simple enough, right? But what if that fuel was locked away? This brings us to a really important question. Why on earth does your body need a special key just to use its own fuel?
Well, that key is a hormone called insulin. It has one absolutely critical job. It unlocks your body's cells so that glucose, which is your body's main fuel source, can actually get inside and be turned into energy. Without the key, you get no energy. It is that simple. And that brings us to the very heart of it. Diabetes, no matter which type we're talking about, is what happens when this whole key system breaks down. It's when the body either stops making the insulin key or the locks on the cells get all messed up and the key just doesn't work anymore. Okay, so let's dig into our first scenario. We're going to call this one the missing key, which is honestly the perfect way to think about type 1 diabetes.
So what's the deal with type 1? Well, it's an autoimmune disease. That means the body's own immune system gets confused, and it mistakenly attacks and just destroys the very cells in the pancreas that are supposed to be making insulin. The result? The body can make little to no insulin. And it is so important to get this. This has nothing to do with what you eat or how you live.
So if you remember just one thing about type 1, let it be this. It's simple, but it's powerful. The factory that makes the keys, it's been shut down. The body just cannot make insulin, period.
Now let's talk about the most common type, which is a totally different kind of problem. If type 1 is about a missing key, type 2, well, that's about a faulty lock.
See, in type 2, the body is making insulin. The keys are definitely there. The problem is that the locks on the cells have gotten kind of rusty and jammed. We call this insulin resistance. The cells just don't open up like they should. So the pancreas, it tries to help. It works overtime, pumping out more and more insulin, but eventually it just gets exhausted and can't keep up. Now, unlike type 1, this is strongly linked to things like family history and lifestyle. But, and this is great news, it can often be improved or even delayed. And that is the core difference right there. With type 2, the keys are being made, but they just can't turn the locks effectively. Your body is producing insulin, it's just not using it well at all. Okay, let's just put them side by side for a second. The difference is crystal clear, right? Type 1, the body literally can't make insulin. Type 2, the body can't use insulin well. One is an autoimmune problem, the other is about insulin resistance. And that's exactly why managing them is so different. Type 1 always needs insulin. Type 2 often starts with lifestyle changes. All right, so beyond those two big ones, there are a couple of special cases that are really important to know about. You can think of these as kind of situational, and in one case, even reversible, versions of that core insulin problem. First up, we've got gestational diabetes. This is a temporary kind of insulin resistance that, and this is key, only happens during pregnancy. The body just needs way more insulin to take care of both the mom and the baby, and sometimes the pancreas just can't keep up with that extra demand. Now, the most important thing to know is that this is temporary. It almost always goes away after the baby is born. But, and this is a big but, it's a major warning sign. It tells you that you have a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes later on in life. And that brings us to our final category. It all starts with a huge warning sign that your body is sending you. But what's so incredible about this particular warning is that it's also a massive opportunity to make a change. And we're talking about pre-diabetes. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's that stage before you get a full-blown type 2 diagnosis. Your blood sugar levels are up, which is a clear signal that your body is struggling with insulin resistance, but you haven't crossed that line into full-blown diabetes just yet. And this is where that opportunity comes in. Because it's a warning, you can actually do something about it. Things like getting more active, focusing on your nutrition, managing your weight, and even just getting better sleep and reducing stress. These things can often completely reverse prediabetes and stop it from ever becoming type 2. It's really a message of empowerment, isn't it? Your body is sending you a signal that it's struggling, sure, but this is a problem that, in so many cases, you actually have the power to fix. So we get the different types now. But how do doctors actually figure out what's going on? And what does managing this whole system look like day to day?
Well, diagnosis comes down to a few key blood tests. A fasting glucose test checks your blood sugar at one specific moment in time. The A1C test, this one's really clever. It gives you a big picture view of your average blood sugar over the last 3 months. And then there's the glucose tolerance test, which shows doctors exactly how your body handles a dose of sugar. And daily management? It's a whole package deal. It's definitely not just one thing. It's a mix of monitoring your blood sugar, taking any necessary medication or insulin, and, just as important, eating balanced meals and staying active, all while keeping in touch with your doctor.
And I really want to end this part on a super hopeful note. Today's technology has been an absolute game changer. I mean, things like insulin pumps and continuous glucose monitors are making it so much more possible for people to manage their diabetes and live incredibly full, healthy, active lives.
So there you have it, 4 different conditions, but all of them are connected back to that one single idea of insulin. You've got the missing key of type 1, the faulty lock of type 2, the temporary challenge of gestational diabetes, and that all-important early warning of prediabetes. Which leaves us with one final question, because this isn't just some abstract science lesson, right? This is about the system that powers your own body. So now that you kind of get how it all works, what's just one small, simple change you can make today to support your own metabolic health? Definitely something to think about.